Ladies and gentlemen, come gather round, come gather round, come gather around. Today, we're going to put a vehicle on the two-post hoist. You may want to enlist the help of a lackey to get your vehicle between the two posts equally. If you're too far to one side, these arms aren't going to be able to reach and pick up your vehicle. You want it as centered as possible, having somebody up at the front guiding you as to which way you need to go, probably a good idea. One of the significant things that you want to get right in putting a car on the two-post is the weight distribution. If you have a sports car that's 50-50 weight distribution, you're going to want it beautifully centered on this post. A front-wheel drive car is going to have maybe 60% or more weight on the front of the car. So I don't want all of that weight out here, it's going to fall over. So I kind of gauge where would the balance be. And for a lot of front-wheel drive vehicles, the steering wheel about here, or maybe, depending how short the car is, usually with a steering wheel about here is not bad for a lot of vehicles. If it was a rear-wheel drive vehicle with a rear engine like an old Beetle, there's a lot of weight on the back of the car. I would probably smudge it up forward a little bit. So you're going to be kind of a range of where you balance the vehicle. You position it and then come and get me and I'll get an idea of where the weight should be, kind of based on my experience. Once you get the hang of it, we're okay. There should be a plate on the floor that you drive up to or on or past, depending on your wheelbase. And that's listed right here in this decal on the hoist. Nobody's installed that plate yet, so I don't know where it is exactly. But I have a lot of experience with the two-post hoist. The second most important thing you need to do is to place these arms. There's a bit of confusion about hoists. There are symmetrical hoists and asymmetrical hoists, or asymmetrical, asymmetrical. They don't refer to where you position the vehicle. Some folks figure, hey, if it's an asymmetrical lift, I can have way more of the vehicle on one side than the other. No. The symmetry or the asymmetry is the arms. The arm lengths are either symmetrical or they're asymmetrical. With symmetrical arms, in the bad old days, you drive the car too far, swing this arm in to clear the tire, bring the car back and swing this arm in, and then you could lift the vehicle. With an asymmetrical lift or asymmetrical lift, the arms are different. Often they're kind of like this. So you can drive the vehicle where it needs to go. Done. Swing this arm in because it clears the tire. Swing this arm in and it clears the tire. And that works a whole lot better. It's way more convenient. You don't position the vehicle offset one way or the other. It's still physics. It still bolts in the floor. You don't need a ton of weight off of one side making your hoist fall over. So this is an asymmetrical lift. So we're going to set up them arms. The front arm's really short. Swings out like this, and there's usually a way to extend it to fit different things. This particular hoist has a lifter upinator for that's like short and stubby, and then we've got the bigger one over here for if you need more lift depending on the height of the vehicle, or maybe there's a chassis rake where one end is higher or shorter than the other, which is actually typical. So on this car has a full perimeter frame. So right under here is a big honking hunk of steel that is framed. And now you can lift this up pretty easily just by leaving that flat. So I'm going to position this where I think it needs to go. I'm going to crawl down and take a look. Position that guy probably like so. And then we'll go do the back one. And different vehicles might have different positions where you want to lift it from. We do have a book that shows you where to go. You're going to get me to check it before you lift it, because I don't want you to lift your engine out of the car with a hoist. That guy can go right there, and that looks sweet. Let's go do the other side. Okay. This is my two-post hoist at home. Same brand, just a slightly lower level of perfection. You'll find a lot of the stuff on all the other two posts are pretty much the same. Let me show you. Controls are pretty much the same. Power button to go up, lever to go down, and I got to release the locks and hold this down just like the other one. This one's a little different. It's got these saddles and pins, and I got a bunch of different pins I can use to change how high the saddles sit to hold the vehicle up. They kind of lock into place. I wouldn't stack these, but it's just different way of doing it. Still works, still holds the vehicle up in the air just fine. Once the arms are positioned, we have a couple controls we need to be aware of. We have up, and we have down, and we have an unlock lever. These locks lock in automatically, but to lower the vehicle, we need to pull this to unlock it. But what I'm going to do first is raise this a little bit so that I can make sure this thing is being reasonably well balanced and reasonably well supported. I don't want to get it up in the air and then realize, oh dear Lord, let's go fix that. So I want to know right from the get-go. So I'm going to holler, going up. That way nobody is surprised at what's going on. So we're just getting the wheels off the ground to start with. And then we're going to go and look, physically look and make sure this thing is supported. Sometimes you have like 3 arms and one's not touching. I want to make sure this thing is stable, because while I can bench like a lot of pounds, I can't bench this many pounds, okay? I don't want it to fall on my head. Sometimes I also give this thing a heave-ho and see if it falls off. Looks pretty good. You can't go wrong with a full-frame vehicle. I should get that on a t-shirt. Let's go all the way up. Going up. Once you get to the top, we're not going to leave it on the hydraulics. You probably heard the banging of the locks going in place. We're going to let it down with this guy right here. Let it down gently. And let it rest on the locks, okay? A little sketchy, I know. It's safe, it's okay. So now it's sitting on the locks. There's no hydraulic rams just itching to leak and then squish you. This thing is solid. And we can probably get on here. We can probably get under here and show you how these things are attached. Looks like I got a fuel line I need to deal with. So that guy's right on the edge of the frame, on the front. That guy is on the edge of this part of the perimeter frame. Same thing on both of these sides. That's what's going on. It's working for us. So this is nice and stable. Maybe I don't want to go that high. Maybe I'm doing tires and I don't really want to work like this. I'm going to drop it on my head. So you don't have to put the hoist all the way up. Put it to whatever height is comfortable for whatever you're doing. Maybe you're changing headlights and you got old man back and you can't bend over. Okay, put the headlights up here. You're doing brakes, I'd probably put the wheels at a comfortable height here. Even changing tires would be okay, although you got to lift it a lot further. Good idea to always leave the doors closed when it's going up so it doesn't catch on anything or surprise anybody. Don't have anybody in the vehicle when it's up there. We don't need a dynamic shifting weight that's moving around that could upset the vehicle and make it fall over. When we've finished the servicing that we want to do, we need to lower the vehicle. To go down, we got to go up. So we're going to raise it to get it off the locks. We're going to release the locks, and we're going to let go of the pressure to bring it down to the ground. But first, so we don't startle nobody, going down, and we go up. On the locks, then bring it down. Make sure it settles nicely. Again, set it the way you think it should be. Get me to check it before you think about going up, because I care about you more than this Mercury, or that Ford, or that GMC. Hoists aren't always the first thing that you get for your own shop, but they are getting up there. Then when it's on the ground, swing the arms out of the way so you don't drive over them. So, now you can put a vehicle on the hoist, raise it, lower it, nobody dies. You learned how to set the vehicle between the posts, get the weight distribution equally front to back based on the weight distribution of the vehicle. You got the arms swung under the lifting points of the vehicle. You holler going up and you raise the vehicle up to the right point. You set it on the locks. Do the work that you need to do. When you're done, going down, lift the vehicle, release the locks, let it come down nice and wonderful and gently. When it's on the ground, swing the arms out of the way, and Bob's your uncle.
You know Uncle Bob?
Yeah, He's told me stories about you. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.